Coming up on this episode of Outlook TV, the Sum Gallery Forest Flux Frequency.
The 28th East Side Culture Crawl.
Wet and Wild Bowling League. And much, much more. Hello and welcome to Outlook TV. I'm Emily Ann Fraser.
And my name is T. We'd like to thank the Musqueam, Squamish, and Tsleil-Waututh Nations for the honor and privilege to film this episode of Outlook TV on their traditional unceded lands.
Outlook TV is the queer magazine news show that brings you the stories that matter the most from coast to coast.
Hey Emily, I got a question for you.
Shoot.
If there's a conversation between a tree and a cyberbug, isn't anyone really listening?
Well, I guess Angus did over at the Sum Gallery, their new exhibit, Forest Flux Frequency. Check it out.
We're at the Sum Gallery at the Sunwa Center in Vancouver's Chinatown for the launch of their fall exhibition, Forest Flux Frequency. Let's go meet them and get the inside scoop of what's going on this year.
Exhibition is called Forest Flux Frequency, and it's a duo exhibition by Khalil Alomar and Raphael Zen. Raphael and Khalil were part of our artist residency program that happened during the summer, and this is the result of all their work. This exhibition, it's sort of a post-apocalyptic take on nature. This idea of nature no longer exists in the future, and it can only be accessed through a series of videos and projections and electronics. And while it's pessimistic in nature, I find that it's also extremely beautiful, and there's even moments of great humor.
Forest Flux Frequency, the story is around like a tree having a conversation with a bug, like in the creative aspect of it. And the way that we kind of worked it was it's about the forest and the devastation that happens to the forest. And the flux is the conversations and the talking that kind of happens like around that. And the frequency is all the noise art and the sound art and experimental stuff that happens around that.
We met previously in Vancouver, and we immediately shared our passion for sound and arts, and then we both figured out that we were going to study together at Emily Carr.
We're partners and now professional partners, I guess.
This collaboration is a form of artistic practice where we base our work or collaborate with more than human species. In our case, bird calls. We are remixing bird calls live, and we are also replicating bird calls with our own whistles, but we do it electronically because in this show it's all about disguising the fact that nature no longer exists and everything you're listening in, looking at is a projection and a simulation.
Environmental composition is the speculative nature of like what the future could sound like, right? And so we're like creating all these noises to replicate what the past potentially could have sounded like because we're living in the future where nature no longer exists.
Traditional sound art comes from a free collaboration between us, meaning that we don't have a set composition that we play. It's not the same every time you listen to it, and it allows us to play more freely between noise art and electronic music.
This exhibition, we decided that we would create a stage where we could have as like the installation, but then activate it with our bodies when we come to perform in it, and then it just goes back to being an installation after the fact.
For Outlook TV, this is Angus Prott at the Sum Gallery in Vancouver.
Coming up next, Andre lights up the dance floor over in Toronto at the Toronto ArQuives. It's Liberation on the Dance Floor.
Greetings everyone, Sajid Moan. I recently visited an immersive exhibition entitled Liberation on the Dance Floor, Reflective Nostalgia at the ArQuives. I met Craig Jenix, the curator, to tell us more about it.
This exhibition is part of a larger research project I'm working on called Liberation on the Dance Floor, where my team and I look at queer collective dance histories in Canada from the 1970s and 1980s. I call this exhibition Reflective Nostalgia because we're picking up on this idea by an artist and theorist named Svetlana Boym, and she talks about reflective nostalgia being an opportunity to return to the dreams of the past. So it's less about like reconstructing the past or returning to the past, but it's about reflecting on what it means to desire the dreams and the possibilities that existed in the past. But we've teamed up with a lot of DJs and volunteers and organizers to try to like get a sense of what it was like there. For this project, we're really focused on the music just sort of pre-disco, before disco becomes the name for dance musics, and then disco itself, and then all the dance musics that come in its wake. Kind of late 1960s up until the end of the 1980s, and so we're covering a lot of different dance music genres there.
The GCDC dance was a really important event in the community at the time, because before there were corporate sponsors for events, this was a community that got together, all the community organizations got together and worked with volunteers to raise money for each of their organizations. So it was incredibly important in terms of fundraising, but it was also a fun place.
What we've done is we've recreated some of the archival notes that people posted that we saw in photographs from the dances in the 1980s. For some of their dancers, you would be able to go and put up your own classified ad. So it's almost like an analog text-based grinder, and each ad at the dances would have a specific number. So if anybody wanted to respond to your number, they could do so and write you a little note and give it to a volunteer who would put it in your mailbox. And at the end of the dance, you could leave with all these notes that people left for you.
It was a great safe space to go and party. They raised money for the community, and they created a really inclusive space for many people from across the community.
The Masonic Temple was this amazing venue where they were able to have two separate dance floors with two totally different vibes of music. The main dance space was this huge dance floor on the ground floor. That's where there was lots of high energy music, a lot of like disco, soul, R&B, getting into sort of house music of the 1980s. That was a place for high energy dancing, men without their shirts on, everybody sweating, really like moving to this music. In the basement, there was a more chill dance floor that the DJs tell us played a lot of women's music, a lot of alternative music, some new wave rock, but there were also sofas where you could sit and chat with people, so it was two different vibes in these two different dance floors. At GCDC dances throughout the 1980s, a lot of the volunteers who made these dances possible were women. A lot of the dancers were men. And that's not to say that there weren't women dancers there. There were many, but we're talking thousands and thousands of dancers, and up on that main floor you'd have, 2,000, maybe 3,000, mostly cis gay men. So this is a history of like a really beautiful, communal, collective political project. It's also a history of a really like sexy and horny time, right? There was a balcony above the main dance floor space, and volunteers have told us stories about at the end of the dance, finding all sorts of clothing and wonder how many people went home completely nude because they found so much of people's wardrobes up on the balcony.
Thank you for being with us. This is Andre Tardif at the ArQuives in Toronto for Outlook TV.
We have to take a little break now.
A break dance now. A break dance now. What?
Oh, please go to break.
Dance.
Just go to break right now.
Hi, this is Mina Mercury, and you're watching Outlook TV.
Hey, look at that, you came back.
From the dance to the crawl, Angus has got our next story on the 28th East Side Culture Crawl.
For 28 years and counting, the East Side Culture Crawl has featured hundreds of artists in Vancouver's East Side who opened their studios to the public. Today, we're going to speak to the executive director and two of the artists to see what they got planned for 2024.
Describe a little bit about the festival and how it works, because it's very unique in Canada and even to some extent to North America. We're one of the few visual arts festival that opens up artist studios to the public. And for those people who have not been in an artist studio space before, you're going to find it to be very intriguing, very eccentric, some of them very unique. So 500 500 plus artists are opening up their studios. We get over 40,000 attendees who are coming, not all at once in one studio. It is over 4 days, and it's impossible for all the attendees to get to every studio. But I can promise you that any studio that you're going to walk into, you're going to find something that you like, or at least you can appreciate.
Right. I'm the creative director of Vanity Failure, and I started it in 2018 doing fashion resale. So from then, I went to fashion school. I've been doing graphic tees, garment construction, branding, all within that. Vanity Failure is all about self-expression. It's about embracing imperfection, and it's about really standing out from the crowd. I definitely have a connection with the LGBTQ community. I identify as non-binary. I'm also queer, and yeah, Vancouver has a great scene. Vanity Failure does a lot of slogan tees, like this one specifically, and then we also have other ones like with slogans like "Your future ex-wife," "Your boyfriend's a good kisser," and "More tattoos than serotonin." Yeah, like Vanity Failure's been around since 2018. It's been evolving. I'm really loving what I've been able to do with the brand, and I'm really looking forward to what the future brings for us.
I'm an artist who upcycles plastic baby dolls, and I find them from thrift stores, garage sales, Craigslist, and I take them apart and just create a new life with them, new products, and I create all sorts of weird things. I went to Emily Carr for photography. That was my major, and I dabbled in sculpture at the same time and really found a love for it. And so I mixed the two together, photography and sculpture, and then I got more and more into the dolls. It just kind of rolled into my life slowly. I just really found that it was a powerful object, that a lot of people just reacted to it in a very strong way. I'm queer, and that is a big part of my life. That's a big part of who I am, and definitely a big part of my art too, because I think with queer folks, the body is such a complicated subject, and that's what I'm all about, is the body and just playing with it. Yeah, my first year was amazing, and I got all sorts of folks in here, and so getting the reaction of everybody seeing the bins and what comes with it was pretty rich and felt like a whole different experience than just displaying stuff at markets. I did also find that there was a lot of the same questions, which was why, naturally, and how did you get all these, which obviously is naturally a question that you.
For Outlook TV, this is Angus Pratt at the Eastside Cultural Crawl in Vancouver.
Drag is everywhere, and Vancouver's PNE continues to bring it back every single year, every single summer. Here's Ollie with the story.
Well, hello, Outlook TV. It's me, Ollie, and we're here backstage at the PNE, where I'm about to go catch one of Canada's biggest drag show for the love of drag, including 5 amazing impersonators.
Growing up in Victoria, every summer we would come over to the PNE and we would be there and we'd hang out there, wander around, and it was fun, but it wasn't my cup of tea. So uncomfortable for me as a gay youth going there. But seeing what we are bringing to it now is just like magic, because you still get those other opportunities to experience the farm animals or cars and prize homes, things like that. But now we have an element of the 2S plus LGBTQ community that is a part of this huge event, which is a part of the British Columbia community, and it should be a part of that. It should be something that people learn and experience. We are now in a moment where we really enjoy bringing characterization, impersonation to the stage. So in the last few years, we've really focused on that. And it's exciting, and it's almost exciting for the people too, because they're experiencing for a moment drag, but in form of impersonation. So something like you would see in Vegas, that people would go to pay to see in Vegas, right? And they're getting to experience it now on the stage at the PNE. As this year, we had Genesis performing as Prince. We had JJ King from Toronto doing Pat Benatar. And as well, JJ and myself did Heart, which was amazing number to do. And we had Jaylene doing Dolly Parton, and we also had another drag king from Victoria, Eddie Licious, doing Bon Jovi. So, and then myself, I did Joan Jett. And of course, with JJ, we did Heart. So it was amazing show. It was all about rock and roll, and what was the interesting thing? You see drag in one sort of light of dancing and performing and glitter and glow and big hair and nails and everything like that. And this year we were like, let's take it a different direction. Let's do rock, and it worked. It was amazing. It was incredible. In 7 years, I've never had anybody negative, always positive. And some of the best have been when you have really young kids come up to you and say, oh my gosh, you're beautiful. I've always wanted to meet a drag queen or a drag king. You inspire me. This is what I want to do. You see a light in youth's eyes, and that's why we're there.
Make sure you come back next year, as For the Love of Drag has become a staple and a tradition at the PNE. For Outlook TV, this is Ollie in Vancouver.
We have to take a little break now.
T, will you be my drag mother? Mama.
Oh my God, not like that. Don't touch me. Hey, thanks for coming back.
Hey T, do you know where I like to get wet and wild?
I think it's the dance floor.
No, it's at the bowling alley, of course. Darren takes us over to Rebs, where he gets wet and wild at their bowling league.
Hey everybody, it's Darren here for Outlook TV. I'm here at Wet and Wild, bowling with the guys. We're going to find out how you can get involved. That's where you want to get a strikeout, and turkey is not just for Christmas, so come on back.
Wet n Wild has been around for 20 years. We moved out here from Park Royal Lanes originally. Used to be Thirsty Thursdays, but now we're Wet n Wild Wednesdays. We have a pretty good, strong league that a lot of people have been here for decades, such as myself. I think I started bowling in the mid-90s or something like that. You know, a lot of people like to get together. It's a good midweek kind of break from the monotony, and, you know, something to do on hump day. You know, we originally started off with the gay league many, many years ago, but it has expanded and anybody can bowl. You know, ability is inconsequential. You know, beginner bowlers, we've all thrown 100 gutter balls in our first days, and we've all started off with averages below 100 and sort of worked our way up. So ability is inconsequential.
IGBO rep, so that stands for International Gay Bowling Organization, and they have leagues all over the US, Canada, Australia, New Zealand, and Canada that are involved in the membership. So I am looking at going to Seattle for their tournament in January. We always have a potluck for Christmas, so the last Wednesday before Christmas, it's just a no tab. So if you roll a 9 in your first ball, it counts as a strike. It's just a fun 2 games. Everyone brings food. We have a toy drive. We have food bank bin. So we've been doing that for, I think, maybe 15 years or more. My average this year was 150. So it's down a little from last year.
Neil's much better than I am, but I got the shirt.
Yes. So anyone that would like to come and spare, they can be put on a spare list, and we can people will email them or phone them and ask if they can come and spare.
Balls. It's all about balls. Thanks everybody. This is Darren for Outlook TV.
Diva Station in Halifax has got our next story. It's a Grease drag sing-along for a fundraiser for Heal Nova Scotia.
Hey Outlook TV, it's Devastation back here in Halifax at the Lighthouse Arts Centre, and tonight we're here for another spectacular event, all in support of Heal, Nova Scotia. It's Grease. Myself, I'm playing Teen Angel. I'm a man playing a woman playing a man, so it's a little confusing. Let's go talk to some of the rest of the cast and coordinators and get all the info.
We decided on Grease because actually we weren't 100% sure what we were going to do at first, and we had to change some things pretty dang quick because our date had changed. So we ended up choosing on Grease, and I'm very excited for the amount of campiness that we were about to happen. You can expect foolishness, you can expect camp, you can expect the fourth wall being broken. You can expect choreographed dance numbers with more than 2 people. It's going to be a crazy one all the way around. I'm most excited to see a very large set of angel wings being spread. I'm very excited to see the almost entire cast ensemble doing a group choreo, and I'm excited to see how much money we can actually raise for Healiness.
The health issues are much bigger than just HIV. And so we decided we wanted to expand our mandate to address those mental health issues and those substance use challenges. But those same 2 issues also apply to the broader queer community. So even though, for example, lesbians aren't a high-risk population for HIV, they still have the same mental health challenges and harm reduction or substance use challenges or self-medicating issues that apply to all members of the queer community, as applies to most minority populations. So we decided we would take on a broader mandate and pick a name that suited and fit the broader mandate and what the work we're doing and already have been doing for a while. And we came up with the Health Equity Alliance of Nova Scotia, which we could conveniently abbreviate to HEAL NS. We get program funding from various levels of government and other third-party funders. It never covers 100% of the cost of doing the work. So the funds tonight help make up that difference. So for example, the province of Nova Scotia gives money towards our HIV-positive support coordinator, but it doesn't pay the whole cost of even that position, let alone the rent and the overhead for that position. So there's always a gap that we have to try to make up. And so to do the work that we're already committed to doing, let alone to hopefully in the future expand our work, we always are looking to generate more revenue.
Well, there you have it, kids. Another spectacular success, all in support of Heal Nova Scotia. I'm going to head up with the Pink Ladies to the after party. I'm Devastation for Outlook TV.
Would you look at the time? That's all we have left for this episode of Outlook TV. But as always, we will be back.
And until we come back, why don't you check us out on all our social media platforms, or better yet, consider volunteering with us.
Thank you so much for joining. I'm Emily Ann Fraser.
And my name is T. Stay fabulous, Canada.